Hey, welcome to the live stream this morning. How are we doing? If you're watching on the recording, leave a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to go live here and just talk about having enough time to build our businesses. You know, when I talk to business owners, when I talk to people that are building their businesses, not having enough time to build their business is one of the number one reasons that people give for why they can't make six figures, they can't make $1 million because they don't have enough time to do so. Is that you? Have you ever felt like you don't have enough time to build your business? Have you ever felt like you want to build your business, you want to accomplish great things, you want to go out there and impact people, you have a vision, you have an idea for what you would like to do, but um, you can't because you just don't have the time to do so. You don't have the hours in the day, the ability with all the stuff that you have going on, with all the priorities that you have to build your business. Is that you? Do you feel that way? Have you felt that way? If that's you, that's what this video is going to be about, and it's something I want to share with people. You see, and I'm going to try to shift your beliefs just a little bit on this because I believe that we have enough time for what we make priority in our life, okay? First off, I also think that we spend a lot of time distracting ourselves with things that, let me get a drink of water here. We end up distracting ourselves with things that don't matter in our lives because we're trying to avoid feeling the pain of not being good enough, not accomplishing what we want, avoiding feelings with our friends and family. And so, distraction time, there's a great book called Indistractable, all about this, by the way. Why we distract ourselves, how to not distract ourselves. And so, distraction time is actually one of the most possible ways that people can make time in their lives to build their business. A lot of times we call it our free time or our downtime. But it matters what you use that free time and downtime on, for one thing, okay? And I'm not about burning yourself out and pushing yourself and burning the candle at both ends to where you feel overwhelmed and stressed out and feel like you've given all you got and that you're not good enough and inadequate. I don't ever want any of my messages to make anybody feel inadequate or not good enough, okay? Hear my heart on that if you're watching this, okay? Yeah, the book is called Indistractable. Indistractable. It talks about why we distract ourselves mentally is always to avoid a painful feeling of some kind, whether it be thoughts, feelings, beliefs, whatever it is. And so distraction sort of makes that pain temporarily go away when we distract ourselves with different things. Okay? And so, listen, I do not believe that anybody should burn themselves out, should harm themselves. I'm I prioritize self-care. So if you hear me here, prioritizing self-care, prioritizing taking care of yourself, prioritizing your boundaries. Boundaries is another great one. A lot of the reasons why we don't feel like we have enough time is a lack of boundaries. So we distract ourselves with things, and then we have a lack of boundaries, and we let people suck our time away that maybe we should say no to. So these are two. Yeah, it is a lot like disassociation. And the reason why we distract ourselves often is very much like disassociation. So, boundaries is one, a lack of boundaries, being able to say no when people come and say that they need to suck our time away, or distracting ourselves from feeling certain things, okay? So, those are two areas. Even when you have a whole lot going on in your life. Listen, I have a whole lot going on. We're building businesses, we're consulting companies. I run the marketing for multiple companies that are doing tens of millions of dollars. And then you add on top of it all of our priorities that we have. If we can get better at our boundaries, saying no to certain things, being strict with our boundaries, and distracting ourselves less. By the way, I play video games. I watch Netflix. I watch Apple TV. I'm obsessed with this new show called Foundation on Apple TV. It's based off the Isaac Asimov book series in the 50s. Like I distract myself and love reading Tom Clancy books, things like that. Okay, for me, those are actually strategic ways for me to sort of disconnect from all the other stuff I got going on for 30 minutes, and then I go back into the work that I do. So again, I'm not saying like no distractions, no free time, no time for hobbies or fun. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying grind it out and kill yourself. That self-care is, again, put that as a priority. I'm not saying say no to everybody and only do your work. So don't hear what I'm not saying. Okay? What I am saying is we can reduce and strategically schedule or plan the times when we distract ourselves into different parts of our day. Maybe instead of an hour or 2 hours watching TV, you spend an hour. The other thing is I found this is that there's a lot of guilt associated with business, okay? There's a lot of guilt associated with not doing enough in our businesses. I'm going to talk real straight here. That guilt is painful. And so then when we feel that guilt, we end up wanting to disassociate or distract ourselves from feeling like we're not doing enough. Again, I don't ever want you to feel like you're not doing enough. I truly believe that if we can sort of rewire our brain, our thought processes about what it means to realize we're fully acceptable, we are good enough, we're doing the best that we can, we accept ourselves, we start praising ourselves, we see ourselves as giving it our best shot every single day, that we can accomplish everything that we need to each day by just prioritizing things slightly differently in our day. Okay? So distractions is one thing. You can reduce some of the distractions or all of them, whatever you want to do. Boundaries is another one. People who try to take your time, people who try to say that you owe them a certain amount of time. Yeah, strategic breaks and chunking your time. That's great. You get more done. And then that's the other thing too. Create time blocks. Say I'm going to work for 30 minutes. Here's the thing. I'm doing my taxes right now. I hate doing taxes, but I committed to 30 or 60-minute blocks at least once every other day. And I've been doing that for the last month and a half. And now I'm about 90% done with it, doing something that I didn't want to do, but I committed to. I'm just going to spend that time. Oh, by the way, if during that 30 minutes I don't get it done, it's okay. I'll do it tomorrow. See what I'm saying? So like part of it is even accepting, even if you don't get your work done during that time block, at least you set it aside and then you can do it tomorrow. Not punishing yourself for not being good enough. Not punishing yourself mentally for not doing enough. These are all strategies that will actually help you get more done when you feel like you don't have enough time. Stop punishing yourself for not accomplishing enough. Then you won't have to distract yourself from that pain of the self-punishment. That's what I had to do. Okay? And so then the other thing is then we limit our distraction time. We figure out what are some things that get me in the mood and get me excited to do what I want to do, right? They get me excited to build my business. I distract myself from building my business on a regular basis. I distract myself from putting content out there. I don't have certain boundaries on my thought life. And then I have to tell myself, wait a second, let's take some time, let's take a minute, let's put a stop sign here. I have to say no to myself from mentally overthinking scenarios. These are all things that we all deal with, my friends. These are all things that we all deal with. And so these are strategies, these are ways that even if you got 10 kids, even if you got uh, responsibilities at work, at church, all that. These are strategies that I think all of us can do to get just a little bit more of our time back and then use that time to build our business. Use that time to do the things that we want to do. Figure out a structure. Now, here's another thing, too, and this is one might be a little bit harsh. This isn't for everybody. This one's probably going to be the harshest thing that I'm going to say. Some of us, some of you, me, I've done this. We design our lives in a way that uses up all of our time so that we feel needed. Instead of saying no to things, instead of figuring out how to not have to do certain things and how to maybe spend less time doing them, we find our self-worth in our ability to do all those things and spend so much time doing certain things that maybe we could just adjust the structure of and save ourselves some time and gain an hour or two back from certain activities that we are doing that we tell ourselves I have to do. Again, I had this going on in my life. I had things I was telling myself I have to do this, and then I realized, wait a sec, I don't have to do this. I can adjust, move things around. And so, really, not tying our self worth to our ability to personally do it with our hands or needing to be personally involved and control everything, that also then frees up certain amounts of time. And I think if you listen through this, if you go through some of these strategies I talked about, limiting distractions. By the way, what we distract ourselves with then operates in the back of our mind, and we end up overthinking and all of that. So then that wastes brain energy. Boundaries, and then giving up some control of certain things in our lives that maybe we've told ourselves in the past that we had to do. Maybe we can give up control of those things. These are strategies that I believe will help you regain time in your life when you feel like you don't have time to build your business. And then you'll find, okay, what's the real reason I'm not building my business? See, this is what happened to me. So I ended up clearing my schedule. I ended up kind of doing all these little strategies I mentioned to you, right? And then I still wasn't building my business. And the only reason I wasn't was because of me and because of beliefs that I had. And I was feeling like I wasn't good enough and that my self-worth was tied to my performance. Okay? And so we have to detach needing our self-worth to come from how much we get done. Your value, by the way, I'm going to tell you that right now. Your value, my value, is not connected to how much we accomplish in every single day or in a month's time. And there's a deeper conversation to that, because it's a core belief type of a thing that is kind of deep down there. But when we realize that, it's very freeing, because even if we don't get something done in a day, we're okay. We're still acceptable. We're still incredible people with gifts, talents, abilities. Our worth as a human isn't tied to how much we accomplish. And so changing those beliefs, changing some of our habits, all of these are different ways that you can regain time to get more done in your life as a business owner. And there's other ways, there's other things, there's other individual things, and I love talking with people about those things. When I coach my coaching clients, we talk about those things. We talk about what their individual areas are in their business. And so if you're somebody that is building a business right now and you need help getting more time, what's your unique area? You know, some of you are taking care of certain people, your caregivers, different things like that. I totally respect that and honor that, and I love that. I think it's amazing. What can you do with some of these other areas that we've talked about to shift, adjust things, maybe multitask, maybe use some technology? One thing that I love is, you can record audio and get it transcribed. You know, a big one with not enough time to build your business, perfectionism is a big one. These are all big things. Your perfectionism makes you spend 5 hours to do something instead of 30 minutes. It's different for everybody. Again, like I said, these are all strategies that you can regain more time to then build your business. And if you start doing these things, if you start applying them, you're going to start to see the things start to move forward, or you're going to start to discover, okay, what's the real reason? What's the real belief that maybe I've been hiding behind all of these reasons. I found I was hiding behind all these reasons if I didn't have enough time. I had to accomplish all these things, all these distractions. I was hiding behind those things. And the real reason had to do with beliefs about what I thought about myself and my self worth. Is a big one. And so for you, think about that. Adjust some of these things, and then maybe you'll discover some of these different areas. Listen, if you'd like to talk about some of these, you can schedule a free 15-minute call with me on my website, jeremiahkrakowski.com, and we can talk about your business and why things are taking a certain amount of time, come up with a strategy for you to regain your time as well. I have over 131 podcast episodes with strategies on mindset and business growth on the Grow Your Life podcast. All right? So thanks, everybody, for watching live on here. I truly believe that we can accomplish our goals in business. It just takes changing our habits. It really does. That's what it is. It's changing our habits and choosing to create the life that we want. Otherwise, your life is you're just gonna experience whatever life throws at you. And so sometimes we have to make hard decisions, but they're worth it in the end. I look forward to talking more with you guys, and we'll talk soon. Have a good one, everybody.